Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Listen, don't forget, today is Time Change Day. I don't know the official title, but supposedly we get an extra hour of sleep, but y'all know how that goes. But just don't forget, I know these smart devices, they change on their own, but if you're one of those old school people that still have your alarm clocks and things that you have to change manually, don't forget today is the day. So I just want to give a real, I want to say hello to Lamont. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about talking to you.
Yeah. So before we jump into our interview, I do want to give a shout out to JCI Legacy, the movie premiere of Office Secrets. The first one happened last night in Charlotte. And if you missed that one, there's another one November 19th in Greensboro. So I'm trying to, get some photos together and stuff like that. So I'll put it out. But it was a really fun event. We got to meet the cast and take some pictures and premiere the movie. So it was really good. And it's got some surprising things happening in the script, so make sure you check them out. But today we're talking to Mr. Lamont of Higher Definition Radio, and so come on in the room, sir, and greet our family. Tell them a little bit about yourself, then we'll jump into more of the interview.
No, again, happy Saturday. Hope everyone's doing well. Busy week so far. Traveled, and I was saying before we got on, I traveled to Michigan most of the week where they got their first snow on Halloween. So,
I can't believe that.
second time seeing snow on Halloween. I think once when living in in Ohio, saw snow during Halloween. So definitely a different thing. Native of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Lived quite a few places, including Hawaii, Alabama, Georgia, Alabama, Utah. I've lived quite a few places. So, father of two, a 23-year-old and a soon to be 11-year-old in a month, and married. Also founded Higher Definition Radio about 16 years ago. So it's been that long. We broadcast local radio station, and like most things, we've transformed that into social media also.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Making Connections. I'm excited. I know I've tuned into some of your shows, and they're always got some kind of inspirational message, something that helps me go on through my week. And so, I definitely, people who are doing great things in the community and inspiring others, I like to have them on the show and, just talk about it. So, and I think JT might pop in with us at some point in time. But tell me, because I know my first journey with starting this platform. What was it like for you, and why did you feel the need to create Higher Definition Radio?
So around 16 years ago, there was an officer shooting of a 16-year-old, 15, 16-year-old young lady who was robbing a store. And the details are a little sketchy, whether she was doing it for gang initiation or she was robbing a store because she wanted to rob the store. And the media coverage at that time was so isolated. Of course, the officers that killed this young lady uh, were sad and distraught, but there was a whole nother side of that story. Like, why would a 15, 16-year-old be robbing a store in the daytime? And I talked to a lot of people, and as the news coverage went on and on, I was trying to figure out, no, there has to be more to the story and more that we can cover, and then more we can talk about in a positive outlet. So I figured out the way I can get my voice on radio, and I reached out to our local radio station, and they gave me an hour and a half. And ever since then, Higher Definition was born and birthed, and we talk about everything from relationships, a lot of religious topics, church hurt. We interview politicians. Our show tomorrow night is we're interviewing 4 mayors from 2 different states. So I'm excited about that, to talk about local politics, to talk about how there's a lack of voter participation. As you look each year, it goes down and down. So that's our birth. I know that was a long story, but
Listen, sometimes you can't just say, the whole vision in a couple words. So I get it. We got like 55 more minutes to talk, so it's okay. but but I just think, I'm with you. I think that, and I'm even learning, like I said, on my journey, I just celebrated 5 years, but I'm learning the value of the platform, you know, and how useful it can be for our community, for elderly, for youth, whoever. So, um, definitely, kudos to you for, seeing a need and meeting that need.
No, absolutely. And I think there's still more work to be done.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of stories to be told. There's plenty of issues to be covered. That is for sure.
Yes,
But we had to start somewhere, right?
absolutely. And not looking to the other person to start. Like
Mhm.
we see the need, we have to jump in.
Yeah. And I do want to say, I know that are you were in the military, so I do want to say thank you for your service. I know you guys hear that, but seriously, you guys are sacrificing time with your family and friends and just your life for the freedom of others. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for recognizing it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the show you got coming up tomorrow with the different mayor. Is it mayors you said?
It's mayors and one city council person. So yeah, we looked at. I know we're in an off cycle of politics. Next year is the big election when most people turn out. But with politics being local, what are the issues that are facing us? How do we impact them? I know a lot of us get so concerned with the presidential race, the Senate race, the congressional race, but really the day-to-day stuff is your mayor race, your city council, your alderman, wherever you're from. Those are the races that have real impact on your taxes, on your city ordinance, on your police department funding, and seeing the lack of people voting is scary sometimes. And then some people don't even realize what district they're in or what county lines. Can you vote in a city election versus county? So we want to talk to mayors to find out, hey, what's the important issue? So we divided into North Carolina and South Carolina to mayors because I think a lot of times we look at, especially if you live near a bordering state, that you're might work in one state and live in another state, but how do the politics of this area, the growth, what jobs have been brought in? We all know when Walmart started to expand, a lot of small businesses went out of business. They couldn't compete. And now you see in another cycle with online delivery. I mean, it's not a day go by you don't see an Amazon truck going by your house. Like, how are the ordinance and things affecting that? So that's what we want to talk about and hear from people who get those calls every single day about my trash is not being picked up, my
Mm,
the city drain is backed up, or we need to pave this road. How do they deal with those and focus those items?
okay, that's cool. And you're right. Everybody just thinks that it's just the presidential race. I know I did. Was talking to Alexa this morning, and she reminded me that today was the day that Obama got elected. In 2008, and I was like, and that's cool. Those presidential races are cool, but it is those local turnouts. And I know that I think one of the slides we had, there's a lady who's running in Charlotte, and her thing is, let's get to those polls. If you didn't vote early, make sure you show up on Tuesday to vote, because your vote does matter. Your vote is your voice, right?
Absolutely. And then there's a such thing as voter suppression. There are people who do not want you to vote, who do not, for whatever political reason, do want you to vote. And how do you don't let the smallest pitfall stop you from voting? What's the reason people don't make time to vote? There's so much sacrifices that have been made for voting. How do we do better in that arena? How do we make ourselves more accountable to voting? How do we make ourselves more accountable to each other? I had recently, within the last few months, an employee who was frustrated with the CMS school board, Charlotte Mecklenburg System School Board, which is one of the largest in the country. I think there's 150,000 students that fall under the Charlotte Mecklenburg school system. And it's been calls for years for them to divide the school district up, break it up, make it smaller so people have more access. But of course, if you're in control, you have no intentions of doing that. You want the power of that. And
Yeah.
actually quit his job so he can run for the school board. And I commend him for that. Like, not just talking about the issues in the school system, but actually taking action.
Wow. That's a major commitment to do that. You have to know that, look, this is my agenda, this is my assignment. So definitely that's taking a big risk. But, I mean, what is it with, people just wanting so much control? I mean, we really have forgotten about the people, the person. You know what I'm saying? These children in these smaller classes get more attention, being able to, get the help they need is necessary. And I really do think we have the means to do it if we just sit down and make a plan and work that plan, right?
Absolutely. And part of our platform has been on educators. We've been blessed and fortunate to partner with a lot of PhD doctors or educational doctors that come on and talk about the state of education, test scores, letting your kids be labeled or not labeled. And that's important. Like, standardized tests started at the beginning of the year and it'll happen again in the spring. We all remember that. We all remember either taking it very, very serious or let me get through this. And if you don't take it seriously, especially in your early years, you're going to label yourself throughout your school cycle as maybe being slow or learning challenge and put yourselves in classes that you don't need. So I'm fortunate that we partner with people to talk about education and the state of education.
And JT, I'm gonna bring you on in just a second, but to that point, I think it's sad too that just because you start off shaky, that's your history all the way through. That they just label you that all the way through. Let's take the time to work with that individual, that student, and let's see if we can change those labels. So I just think that it's so much, like we said before, so much that we have to deal with. And so, but we as the people have to be consistent, right? We have to stand up for people who those children don't know what to ask for necessarily. So we as the parents, we as guardians, we have to stand up for them. So, and that's why we go to the polls and we elect the officials who are listening to us and will help us help our children. So JT, I want to bring you in. How you doing today?
Doing well. It's a blessed day. Good afternoon, Allie, Lamont. Everything that is being said today is nothing but gems and wisdom. When we talk about what is needed in our community, what we want our elected officials to be representatives of our, the people in our communities and be able to make things happen. It is a lack of people going to the polls, and people have several reasons for that. And we have to continue to move the needle where it pertains to encouraging people to get out, because our local elections do have a major effect on what goes on in our communities, from our school board to our city council to who holds the mayorship. So those things are important, and it's kudos to high definition radio and to making connections with Alley TV for bringing these things to the light and encouraging people and putting the information out there for people to be able to hear and visually see. There is a need. There will always be a need. There will always be work to be done where it pertains to these areas, because just when we think, just so happen in the city of Rock Hill, you have 70,000 plus people, but you have an even less percentage of people that are registered to vote, and an even less percentage of people that are actually going out to the polls. We just had an election here um, 2 weeks ago, and we barely got 17% of the registered voters to come out and vote in a local election, and it was important. And for those that have other agendas, they're able to push the narratives and get through. Oh, well, that's about 350 voters. So let's say we write a candidate in all we need is 400 voters, and we've taken this election because people are not coming out and vote. We got to continue to educate our community on that particular fact. There are groups out here that are constantly meeting and constantly strategically trying to take advantage and leverage the fact that we don't get out and vote. So again, I thank y'all for just continuing to educate, and the show that will be on high definition radio tomorrow is terribly important. Look at the people that are in position. Look at the people that are talking to you. They're talking with you, and they're wanting your input too. So if please, if you have opportunity, please tune in to that show tomorrow night and communicate. It is another opportunity. There's another olive branch that is being offer to the community to interact and ask and talk because they are willing to do so. So please take advantage of that.
And I think that's true too, that, we have to keep communication lines open. I know sometimes we're like, oh, they just lying, they not gonna do what they say they're gonna do. But not every official is like that. There are really officials out there who want to give you the information to help you make better decisions for you and your family. I think you have to tune in, you eat the meat and spit out the bones. When you hear something that you think is awry, you know, that's your perspective, but you have to at least listen to the conversations or be involved in the conversations. Don't you think, Lamont?
100%, because I think if you don't, you lose out. But a lot of this starts at early age, being involved in the school system, being involved teacher parent meetings, being involved in the PTO if you can, being involved checking on your child's school activities. Like, it's so much basic stuff, because a lot of times we get in this cycle of presidential elections and it's focused on one or two issues and everyone gravitates towards those issues. But there's a lot more people need to focus on besides one or two issues that a candidate has or doesn't have. And I think that's where we need to become more educated. But it starts with the training wheels. Get involved in your kids' school, get involved in their educational process so you can educate yourself even on that level. What's being taught in your kids' school? What curriculum are they going by? How are they being disciplined in the school? How are they being focused or redirected when they're off track? And all that, I think, ties hand in hand to us being a better society.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was thinking about. Just even if in the curriculum, what are they teaching? What are they not teaching? What's missing? What's their schedule like? What are they, I mean, down to what's the cafeteria feeding them? I mean, all those things are so important. What do they do during their free time? How much tutoring or extra help can they get? Does the school system have the capacity to be able to offer more? So but I think it's about making connections, even around the school systems, everybody really working together for the betterment of the community. And, Teresa Irvin was on probably a couple years ago, but just she was so focused on the community. I want to get out because, we do have standard meetings, but sometimes those parents don't meet those meetings because they're at work. So I want to go to the community, and be available to them when they can come in and out. So she thinks she has spent several hours just like at a location in the community. So, sometimes you have to, if you're not getting the feedback you're looking for, then sometimes you have to do the work different, right?
No, and definitely as men, and people of color, men of color, there's a lack of that in the school systems. And when you see that, you have to figure out how are you going to show a positive influence within the school system. My daughter's school, there was an email sent out about a month ago. One of the teachers, only African-American teachers, is starting a program to get men involved in the classrooms. And that's showing how to tie ties, talking about your professional career, talk about your job. Like, all those things are important. And he took part in the program, and it's slipping my mind, but it's taking teachers, male teachers, and putting them in classrooms. I know several states have it. I know Clemson University sponsor, and there's a few other colleges sponsor it. But those things are important to show positive role models, positive imagery into our school system And also bring that forward into our elections. It can't be about who calls each other the nastiest thing is the winner. That can't be what we're trying to set ourselves up for.
Right. I just want to say Deidre, I think it is, and Sheikah, I think it was, are saying hello. So I wanted to give a shout out. Thank y'all for tuning in. But absolutely, that is so important. Just like you said, just that male influence, seeing another male, being able to tie a tie, make sure that, you know, just building that confidence in a child, because that's where we start. We have to build confident children that go into confident adults and active adults and responsible adults, and it just continues to flow over. And even when your home is stable, then when you go out into the community, when you go out to your churches, then you help build stable communities, stable churches, and it just overflows, right?
Absolutely. And I see Dr. Houston is on, Dr. Chika Houston. She started a program during COVID that I think is life changing. And it's networked through a whole bunch of educators. Um, and it's a program that tries to teach educators how to educate, how to reach back, how to pull students who are below standard testing. And me and her have multiple debates on, do test scores really mean what the test scores mean? But she took action during COVID. And I've been saying for the longest, because I struggled. When my daughter came home during COVID, to educate her, or when assignments were being sent to, and I have 2 master's degrees, and I couldn't figure out the math, how they were teaching math, and I couldn't figure out some of the language art things. I felt like I was a fish out of water during that time. And I faithfully watch her program on Saturday mornings, and she's connected with a whole bunch of educators across the country, including Detroit, um, because it's about getting better. The subject matter might not be pertaining to me as an educator, but how do we do better? How do we better ourselves, better our kids? Like, I can spend 30 minutes out of my day doing that, or for Saturday doing that. And I encourage other people to do that. Take the time to better your life. Don't be so trapped into social media that it's all about laughing at someone making a fool of themselves or hurting themselves or looking funny. But take that opportunity, which I think social media is, it connects people as a learning platform also.
Right, right. Just like anything else, you can use it for good or use it for bad. But there really are a lot of options out there that we didn't have before COVID, and ways to connect. Even with mentors, it don't even have to be a mentor in your city. But if your child needs mentoring, there are online, options. But listen, I'm gonna have to ask Dr. Houston about this new math. What was wrong with the old math? But JT, you want to add to that conversation?
Nah, just to co-sign on what Lamont is saying, Dr. Houston, it brings an extraordinary program, insight, and I too tune in on Saturday mornings. Had the pleasure of meeting her, and just in co-sign on the fact that, man, we just listen and we encourage other people to gravitate to what information is being put out here, man, we can change this. We can change this thing step by step. I was one. I didn't test well in standardized testing either, and it had a lot to do with anxiety and just not being able to grasp it. But I did understand as I got older that a lot of things were based off of how you tested. I didn't necessarily think that that was a great thing, because I felt like I was, I understood a lot more than what a standardized test would measure, and I
Right.
seen that in my own kids as well. And so so I don't just say that just because I went through it. I see, when you know your
Yeah.
kids and you know what you're putting into them, and you know what you're taking the time out to teach them, and you know what they're capable of. I don't think you can wrap all that up in a standardized test. That's just my opinion, but that's just me. Same thing I felt about, when I took the ACT and the SAT. Just didn't feel like everything was wrapped up in that, because they're individuals that just are smart, and they excel visually. They're visual learners that
Oh
can
yeah.
show things that standardized testing doesn't. But that within itself is a whole nother thing. I have a question for Lamont. Just in general, I want to say thank you for your service, but I want to say thank you for who you are authentically. I think it's important for us to recognize, what I'm saying, our people. Our leaders are not the people that are always that are polarized and put out here on Front Street. We got a lot of people that are right here in your face that you may not see and you may not be paying attention to, or you kind of hear them, but you're not understanding what they're actually saying.
Right.
Lamont is one of those people. You're talking about 16 years, but it started way before those 16 years. He was already birthed into greatness as he was coming up and getting the experiences of this life, and even going into the military and seeing a whole different version of saying what life is even outside of this country. And what I want to ask Lamont, in your experiences in traveling and as you continue to travel the world, what are some of the things that stick out to you that you didn't necessarily see coming up in Rock Hill, and what has given you some of your greatest experiences and stuff that you've been able to pour back into your own kids and family?
I think and that's a great question, one of the most shocking things that Americans are not liked around the world. That is whatever myth we're selling ourselves, we're not liked all over the world. There's a lot of countries that have great disdain for Americans, and that's not countries that are enemies. Those are countries you could visit because they feel we're arrogant and we're self-righteous, and we are to a degree. And we're cowboys on how we handle things. Like, America's 1776 was birthed. There's countries that go back. Like when I travel to Germany or anywhere in Europe, a lot of people live in houses 5 generations. Like they've stayed in that same house for 5 generations. Americans don't have that. So when we get into this gentrification conversation, a lot of Black folks only have lived in those houses as long as their grandma and them lived in that house. That wasn't their neighborhood before that, and before that, and before that, where a lot of Europeans do feel that they've been forever and sustaining the course. I think my biggest learning lesson, besides that Americans are not like traveling the world, is we're all the same. Like people play the same. People joke around. People have similar childhoods, and you can find that in the U.S. People were playing hopscotch, double dutch early. No matter if you were in South Carolina, California, and when you go to other countries, the game might be slightly different, but we have that same bond as kids. We're pure. I think another take would be we're very conservative, whether it's talking about sex, drugs, alcohol. When we try best not to expose our kids to it, we are doing the total opposite. Where a lot of European countries, drinking age is 18. You'll see sex on TV after 8 o'clock on regular TV, not HBO where you got to know the code to get in. Those things are interesting. And then I guess the third thing is everyone's just trying to survive. Like there's people, I don't care what your faith is and your religious spectrum, people are just trying to etch out a living and be happy. And a lot of our decisions or their decisions are made on that, trying to be happy. I was in Mexico last month, Central Mexico. So not Cancun, not, some of the glamorous cities, but where English, no one cares about speaking English. So, and you can only point so much. Their working week is a 48-hour week. It's not 40 hours. So they work longer hours to etch out a living for their families. But to me, they're happier than a lot of Americans I see because their whole basis is family, family and community. They're going to live near their family all their life, and they love that. I know that's a long-winded answer, but thank you for that because I was in Europe during the summer. I traveled all 4 weeks of September. And like I said, I just came from Michigan. So to see people in a different space is important to me. And what I've poured back into my own kids is, man, just be happy with what you have. Strive for better, but better for everyone. Rise the boat together and we'll be okay. And never look down on someone because you can be up one day and down the next.
That is so true. You can be up one day and down the next. You never know where you're gonna lie in the circle of life. And so I do think it's good when people are able to go. I'm really passionate about telling people to travel the world as much as they can, because it's good to get out of your space and see how other people are living, see how other people are do how they treat their families, how they communicate with their families, how they spend time with their families. It's just, I think it's just a good eye opener, because sometimes it will remind you to come back and appreciate, like you said, the things that you have. Now, we do always have to have a goal and keep working for better, but that gratefulness at the end of the day and throughout your day is what's going to be able to help you get through even bad times. Because Lord, this is happening, but I'm grateful that you're still here with me. I'm grateful for your word that I can speak over this situation. I'm grateful for this community that I can turn to, to be able to, just talk and to vent. I'm grateful for, men who are going into the classroom to to help my son become a better man. So that gratefulness piece is major.
Can I say one more thing to that point?
Sure.
One of the things I've also learned or experienced as a Christian, as someone that goes to church every Sunday, um, I've been treated better by non-Christians than I have Christians around the world. People who believe in a principle of self-respect in practice and treating me well as a human being. A lot of times I find that better outside of my Christian faith than I have inside in this country. Um, the racism, the sexism, the you're this, you're that. A lot of countries don't have that per se. And their religions are totally different. I've been able to travel to China. I've been on the Great Wall of China, traveled over to Taiwan, and a lot of people just have a self-respect, treating you like a human, which I think carries you way farther than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with that. JT?
I mean, what you just said, I mean, it's interesting, and you have a global perspective of that, and to be able to bring and see it, full circle. When you travel around and you see different cultures and see different things, you're able to, having even open more of an open mind to what actually goes on and what actually needs to happen. And so you're not just talking about it from the sense of, oh, this is what I think. No, I've walked it, I've seen it, I've experienced it, I've felt it. And you know the different feeling. You know the difference. So nobody has to, what I'm saying, there's no smoke and mirrors. You know exactly what that looks like. And you know that general feeling. And that's something that you can't teach. And had those values start, what I'm saying, and how you come up and what you see and what is fundamentally put inside of you. And so as you able to travel, you're able to do certain things, and I base this question on Lamont as well. When you talk about your faith and when you talk about what goes on in life and how you affect it as a man, moving and seeing what is going on with our youth and understanding that our youth face more challenges than what we ever seen coming up, what I'm saying, during our time with the era of social media and things of that nature. I was just sitting there thinking, man, my space was about as much as we seen. I didn't know, and I wasn't even in tune with that, but I couldn't imagine being in school in this day and age with all of the distractions that are there for our kids. What would be something that you would say to the youth that are watching us right now? What would be one thing that you would encourage them to do that could change the path of all those distractions or all those things that they're faced with in this day in society?
For our youth, I would say the word focus, but I know when I was young, I wasn't focused. But it's setting on a path and finding truth within yourself. So being self-confidence. I talked about this on a previous show for high definition. Like if I had the self-confidence when I was 10, 11, when I thought acting like I wasn't smart was the cool thing, and we don't need school, we just gonna etch by. I didn't have confidence in myself to stand out and be my own person. So self confidence, develop that. But that also goes to parents and grandparents around and aunts and uncles in the community. We have to give our kids, enabling them self confidence within themselves. Without that, you lack the basic discipline to strive to any goal. And that's how you see young females in uncompromising positions because they don't have the self confidence. The first guy that says he likes them or winks at them, they're all into it. Or our young men who fall in the path of gangs and drugs, we have to instill self confidence in them. So that would be my biggest thing for our youth. Hey, work on your own self confidence, your own person, being you, the individual that God made you. Work on that.
Mhm. Listen, that's a good statement right there. But I like the way you also said it comes from the parents, because sometimes the parents don't have that self confidence, so it's hard for them to teach that. They didn't have that growing up. They just went by a set of rules. This was it, and we didn't ask questions. Sometimes I think sometimes we talk about the kids. Well, they talk back too much. But listen, when we were growing up, we really didn't have a lot of options. It was what the parents said. We couldn't really give our opinion. So I think it's good again communication to sit down and understand and ask your kids these questions and then talk about it. Well, this is why I give you this answer. This is why I feel like you should do this. Because I think when there's an understanding, now don't mean they always gonna do it now. Come on. But I think when there's an understanding behind it, it's just it's a different atmosphere in the house. Because I know there were some days I went real mad all day long because my mom's and I was like, well, why though? I don't understand. I'm not that kid. I'm not going to be doing this and that. I just want to go to the game. But there was a reason why. But so I still think communication. And then I think that's why we as adults, being on these platforms and having these conversations, because hopefully we're helping the parents as well, the grandparents, whoever the guardian, whoever the caregiver is, we're helping them as well to be like, oh, well, maybe I should step up my game to be able to be a good example to those who are following me or looking up to me, right?
No, absolutely, and be guided by something. A lot of people are just aiming, just flying by the seat of their pants. As adults, like we see it on our jobs, we see it at the church. Like some people have no direction of what they're trying to accomplish, and that stifles our development, our growth. And that's not even talking about from the faith standpoint, but even when you get into the faith or religion standpoint, you have to have discernment of what people are doing and saying because people are praying to different stuff. Some people are praying to Republican Jesus, Democrat Jesus, Independent Jesus, Jesus that their grandma told them about, she found from somewhere. Like so you got to have the discernment to know for yourself what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's true too. So I do want to do a couple of these comments. You know, I can't read without my glasses. The Dr. Houston says the Real Academy by Create and Educate LLC. I think that's her organization.
It is.
Um, I think somebody was co-signing with me. Yes, what was wrong with the old math? And she said nothing. I told all my students, tell your teachers I'm teaching you the old school way. I was the principal, and I could say that. um, let's see. It's a lot of comments. Okay, James and Lamont are doing great things in the community. Keep up the good work and making a difference. That's Dr. Houston as well. Um, Miss Deidre says, yes, Lamont, you are a true visionary. So, and Jimmy says he's here to say hello to Lamont and that you are right. So I just kind of wanted to go through a few of those comments. Um, because again, we are here to encourage somebody, to inspire somebody, to let somebody know that you're not alone because maybe you're that parent or that guardian and you're trying to help, but maybe you just don't know what steps to take. Maybe you can't get to the PTO, but listen, nowadays you can email the teachers, you can, go online and have Zoom meetings. So maybe you can't get there to the school, but there are options if you want to help, if you want to be a part of your children's life. And like, I don't even have any kids in school anymore, but I'm passionate about what goes on in the school. So, maybe you're just somebody and maybe you feel weird because you're like, well, I don't have no kids. I don't want people thinking I'm crazy. But if you have a concern for your community, then just make your voice heard. And you never know how you might be able to help.
No, 100%. I think we have to get involved and not just talk about getting involved, but actually do something, take a step to help, and especially with our educators. That's a tough battle. As you can imagine, when we were growing up, that whatever the teacher said was right. So if the teacher said you cut up, your parents said you cut up.
Right.
Hey, that's not what's going on. If the teacher says you cut up or the student cut up, parents are now defending their kids to an over point where it's probably hard to educate, hard to keep control within a classroom.
Yeah. Wow. Man, we need more teachers. We need more parent. What were they called when they went? Because I know when my godchild was in school, I would go and help read. Can't remember what it was called, but you have people in the community. Maybe you have some free time, and you can step into the school and help tutor or help somebody with their reading skills. There's just so many things I think to do, and you definitely. I'm gonna put Dr. Houston's information in if you're an educator and maybe you're getting frustrated because you feel like you're not making a difference. Definitely want to strengthen the educators because they do have a lot in front of them. Whether it's you want to deal with the situation with the student, but you want to encourage them, but there's discipline. It really is sometimes a fine line. JT.
Now it's a different day and time. I think about my mom, who was in the classroom 52 years, and she talked a lot about teaching brothers, cousins, family members. That was a different era, and she was on the back end of some of the generational stuff that we seeing now, and she talks a lot about how it's changed and what she came from, and so a lot of the things that we're talking about now, and looking at it and listening to her from a different eye and perspective, it's like amazing what I'm seeing now, because it wasn't COVID, it wasn't the flu, it wasn't that interrupted the educational experience. It was a disconnect, because you got our teachers fighting for not just surviving, but also being equipped and being able to do what they're being skilled to do. And when you have parents fighting against you and no longer we're with you, and you got less and less people in these parent teacher conferences, and you look at less and less people in the PTOs. See, I came from a time where my mom was involved, my mom and dad were involved, and me and my wife were involved with our kids in school. See, when you are involved parent, you see how those numbers have declined. And so
Mhm.
you see where fundamentally where the problem really is. It's not just on the teachers, it's not on the administration. We as families and parents are no longer there. And I'm not just gonna put that on work, because you look at all the avenues that we have now, email, Zoom, you have technology that can connect you even more. We didn't have that. You had a phone call and you were trying to get to the house before that phone rang, especially if you knew you were not done your discussions in school. See, now it's even quicker. So why are we not utilizing those things and really taking advantage of it and really locking in? Because some of our kids don't know how to say, "Mama, Daddy, I need you. I need that encouragement. I need your support." What that would do for them, in elevating their mind and their confidence, like Lamont said, it would turn it around like quickly. Those are the things that I think we need to lock in on and encourage. I understand parenting didn't come with a handbook, but we have things that are being placed in front of us that we're not taking advantage of, and our kids are suffering ultimately for that.
Hmm. Look, I remember back in the day, like my mom would be at work. She'd be like, my daddy will be over there in a minute. I'm like, doggone, I'm really in trouble. Or if she had to get off work, you in trouble. I'm like, doggone, if they call me to that school and I have to get off my job and lose my, I mean, it was consequences. So again, we have to find a community where, if we can't be there, a community that we trust, a community that we know is going to look out for our kids. So it's a lot. And even teachers now, with so much going on, I think students are dealing with the fact that there's so many school shootings and different things like that happening. And so I had one of my friends is a teacher, and she was like, I just couldn't understand what was going on with this one child, but she had seen these school shootings. And so when she came to class, she did not want to participate. She was always fixated like on the doors. Anytime something happened, she would jump. So it's a lot going on.
Oh, that's a world that we didn't grow up in, but we've quickly had to adapt. I think Columbine changed it for everyone. And almost every year you see a school shooting. I'm not saying almost every year you see a school shooting, which is sad. But there's so many different avenues and outlets out here. Yeah, we have to use technology for what it's can bring us a better existence in life. But I think a lot of times we choose to use it for the evil part or the lesser part of that.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I'm just thinking we used to just line up for like a hurricane, practice, but nowadays it's shooting awareness. So
Yep.
whew, it's a lot. Let's see. Another couple comments. Jimmy says, I think they stopped having people come in the classroom to help out because of sex offenders. Gotcha.
The world has changed, right? It's
Yeah,
something we probably didn't even think about. Even sitting on Santa Claus' lap for the picture. Like, no, these Santas now have to be streamed and background because it's a world we didn't think of, but was probably there
right.
that we need now to one more thing and one more thing and one more thing.
Mm, yeah, so that lessens the community involvement.
Yep.
And so unless you're willing to go through all those screenings, and so whew, listen, we got some things going on here a lot. So that's from the teacher, from the parent, everything. And so, but listen, we're here to have those conversations to figure out how we can make everything better and keep moving forward, keep elevating our communities and our children and that confidence level from the babies to the adults.
And one more thing, even from that, as we talk about technology, I see Pastor Ed is on. The ministers out there, and Pastor Ed does a great job with their platform and social media activities. But more pastors need to be doing that and flood the social media with that. If we can sit and watch 2 hours of somebody tripping and falling or pulling pranks on each other all day,
Truly.
have the religious, your faith part being out there also, where people can gather that content and take a moment or a break from all this craziness that you can see on social media. I think that would help us also.
Hmm. Listen, yes, those we need some more positive videos, more you know, um, encouraging things, and we can't forget to leave our children out. We got to have stuff for them. Li- Listen, we could all take rotation and go about 10 years before we covered everything and did all the appropriate videos. But listen, we got to start somewhere, right? So, that's what we're trying to do. We're definitely, well, and you're right. I wanted to kind of hit on that subject about how you're treated better by your non-Christian brothers and sisters than you are. But that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe for next time. But it's a conversation to be had because that's a problem. When you are trying to go to people of faith and you're trying to, get some support, but then you hear your story in the bathroom or in the kitchen, and you're like, well, I ain't tell but one person or maybe two people. So, then we become recluse again because we're like, well, I'm not going to share. I'm just going to go through these things by myself. But listen, keep going, keep trying to find your tribe, keep looking for your community, because we cannot do this by ourselves. We cannot keep all these things on the inside of us. So find somebody, even if it's a stranger, a therapist online, somebody that you can talk to, and you can be able to get these things out of your system. You can be able to get advice. Even with online, you can get online counseling, you can do online texting. I mean, again, do your due diligence to make sure these are professional people. Do your due diligence to make sure they have all the credentials they should have. But I'm just saying there are other options.
Oh, I agree with you, and I think we're so capable of doing more if we put our mind to it. And during COVID, and I know you call him JT. I've known him all my life, so I call him Sherman, and I've gotten to James. But during COVID, there was so much negativity, people dying. Higher Definition started to shoot spotlight videos. And we were spotlighting local people in the community, 10, 15-minute videos, just spotlighting them, talking about their life, their positivity. Because one of the things is, from a generational standpoint, a lot of us would do anything to hear our grandmother's voice, our mother's voice,
Mhm.
our father's voice that is passed on, and create a legacy of having a memory of them talking about themselves and what you mean to them.
Right.
And that was something simple, but for me, I thought, man, we got to get more positivity out. Every time you turn on a TV or social media, COVID rate is this, death rate is that, the economy is this. So we all can do a little bit more in your own special way.
Right. And I mean, you're right, because, I started working from home, and then the George Floyd thing happened, and I was at home and my TV was always on the news. I mean, it really started getting to me, and I was like, started, having some little anxiety, and I was like, what is going on? But I realized I was so focused on what they were talking about, on the news. So we definitely have to be informed, but don't sit in front of the TV all day listening to those negative stories and the riots and people fighting. I mean, it really will get to you. Even if you're a strong person, it can kind of start breaking through that shell. So we have to be mindful, definitely, of what we're putting in our ear gates and our eye gates. So it's very, very important. Limit your time to that stuff, and we definitely have to limit our children's time on those things, those devices. Now, I don't know how people do it now, but my godson, when he's at my, give me that phone, because you're not gonna be on that phone all night. I don't know what's going on. I can't monitor you. Let me have the phone. Oh, there's a problem. I don't remember you paying no bill on that phone, so technically it's my phone, so I can use it when I want to. But but we just have to be mindful. I mean, there's always something out there trying to take us down, trying to distract us, discourage us. But I always say this show is to empower somebody, to encourage somebody. Even if you tried before and it didn't work, try again. Take out the pieces that worked and tweak your plan. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you have curriculum you want to put in the school, JT, and well, you probably know her too, Janet Marie. She's got curriculum that she has written, and she's working with the school systems because she had JT, an autistic son, right?
Yeah.
And so she has curriculum because her son wasn't jiving with what was in the regular school system. So she created curriculum that helps autistic children to learn and to be able to keep up and to be able to pass those tests and things. So, whatever it is that is in your heart to do, and to, God has given all of us gifts and talents. So whatever he's given you to do, you can do it. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say, myself and Lamont come from an elementary school that is no longer open, a football team that name is different, but we came through those things, and now we represent what we learned from those teachers and those educators and those principals, those coaches, and we are applying those to what we're doing in this life. So the lesson out of that is, the building is just the building, but what you get when you were in those walls, when you were in those classrooms, when you were having those experiences, those things is how you apply them in your life. Lamont is a great example of what you can do with what you get while you're there. What are you gonna do with it? I can pour this into you, but what do you want to do? How you want to apply that to your life? Is a life lesson that I believe both, him and myself both get it and apply it. And those, when you think about those people, even if you were in schools that still exist to this day, and you can look back and go back, what did you do? What did you do with what you got? With that information that was poured into you, what did you do with it? What are you doing with it now? How are you pouring that back? How are you giving that back into your community? Dr. Houston is doing it. What she got, the education that she got, the fundamentals that she got, what she got it from, she took it and she applied it to herself, and now she's pouring it back out. Aly is doing the same thing. Our leaders, the people that we vote in, the people that that are doing the work in position, how are they applying it? That's what you must ask yourself when you're looking and seeing that this person qualified to represent me and represent my views and represent what I would like for them to advocate on my behalf. Those are the things we need to ask ourselves as we move forward and we make those decisions as we move into these different, climates and environments. But I just wanted to say that, we all are designed with a genius within us. It's all about how you digest it, marinate it, and put it out there in the atmosphere so that it can impact others.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Lamont, did you want to comment on that? And then we're going to take a short break. We have to run a couple of commercials. But I'll let you comment on that if you'd like before we go to commercial.
No, I totally agree. Applying what you've been given and expecting more and pushing yourself towards more is the key.
Awesome. Well, listen, y'all stay tuned. We're definitely going to have some closing comments from both Lamont and JT. And but right now we're going to take a short break, just a couple minutes. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more Making Connections with Aly.
Hello, wonderful listeners of Making Connections with Aly. I have something truly special to share with you today. Have you ever dreamt of financial success and didn't know where to start? Look no further than Independent Trading University. At ITU, we offer a diverse range of courses, from Forex basics to advanced technicals, along with comprehensive fundamentals education, mindset coaching, health and wellness guidance, plus stock and crypto trading strategies. That's right. Everything you need for a well-rounded trading journey, all in one place. Our mission is clear, helping you make extra income by learning the art of trading. Join us today at solo.to/independent trading duo and take advantage of an exclusive pre-sale. $50 for undergrad students looking to trade part-time, and just $75 for career traders ready to dive in full-time. With ITU, you'll master the art of making consistent income from the markets. This is your chance to start building a brighter financial future. Are you ready to transform your trading game and take control of your financial future? Look no further than Independent Trading University, your one-stop destination for comprehensive Forex education and so much more. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, we've got you covered. We believe in a holistic approach to trading success. Gain a deep understanding of market fundamentals, master your mindset, and prioritize your well-being. We're here to support your growth every step of the way. And let's not forget about stocks and crypto. Discover exciting opportunities and learn strategies to make extra income. The best part? We're running a limited time pre-sale for new students. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to gain the skills, knowledge, and support you need to succeed. Ready to make connections with your financial future? Visit our website at solo.to/independent trading duo to secure your spot in our pre-sale today.
Hey, welcome back. More Making Connections. We are almost, time has gone for today. Listen, this hour goes by so quickly. I know when I first started, I was like, an hour? Are y'all crazy? I can't talk that long. But listen, I have enjoyed this, thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And I want to say about those two videos, ITU, Independent Trading University, is a community, and they have a community on Facebook that you can join if you're looking to become more financially independent. Listen, I believe that jobs are good. I'm thankful for them, but you also have to continue to build. Or if you're struggling and you need something extra, it's just another option. You know, I'm not telling you it's an option, because listen, we have to build wealth. We have to do better at that. We have to be a good steward of our finances, of our time, of our family. So there's so many things. So Independent Trading University, I'll put the link in the description of the video. And then SIBM, which is the platform that we actually use. They're doing a workshop tonight at 8 p.m. It's a virtual workshop. If you want to join, you can still register. Talking about having a platform. Maybe you have a voice, maybe you have a message, maybe you've been looking for somewhere to be able to talk about your skill and your talents. And so it's just talking about how you can make money at broadcasting. So that is this evening at 8 p.m. I'll also put the information in where you can register. But I definitely wanted to give Lamont and JT opportunity to give final comments and to tell everybody how they can follow you. Or maybe, if you're one of your organizations, if you have a need for something, let us know that as well. We'll
I want
start
to say
with Lamont.
thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for any time talking about positivity and betterment. I think that's important. I think we as a community can do better. We rest on the shoulders of a lot of people who went before us, who made a lot of sacrifices, including their life, for a better life for us. So definitely want to say thank you. The connection, and I'll be out. It's a lot of people from Higher Definition I see popping in and out. I would ask they put their contact information in this show's thread, because it's more about that for me than Higher Definition. I mean, we've been doing this for quite a while. So the Pastor Eds of the world, and I know Dr. Houston put hers in, but anyone that's watching, put your information. I would love to follow you and love to support what you have going on, because that's more important, to build that type of community. And Aly, I know that's your thing, building the community to do better. And with that, I'll say thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, was that supposed to be your, but I think I
Thank
said
you.
on
All right.
8.
I'll put it in back
Okay,
in.
okay, yeah, definitely do that. And JT?
Definitely an honor to be on with Lamont today. Anytime you're able to chop it up with not just a classmate, but a friend, it makes it even more special. And it was important for me to jump on today, just to give flowers, pay homage, and continue to show that unity. And we're moving together. There's nothing competitive. It's all in unity and moving. And that's the one thing that as we lock arms and we move forward, that right there is positive within itself. And spreading that positivity in the atmosphere and understanding what that is on Higher Definition Radio, watching, viewing, listening, and sharing the content. Share the content. It is great information. It's great stuff. What Dr. Houston does in her shows and her contents and the things that she put out there, share, listen, look, take the time out. And what we do here on Making Connections TV with Aly, paying attention to the content every Saturday at 2 p.m. I mean, at 12 noon, and every Monday at 2 p.m. And on fourth Mondays, Impacting Inspirational Mondays, every fourth Monday with myself and Aly. Tune in. It isn't just, we're not just on here just talking. There are things that have been put in our spirits that they were led to share. And it's for somebody. And so again, I hope somebody, got something out of the show today, because there was a lot of great insight, wisdom, and gems that were dropped. Lamont, again, appreciate you coming on this platform and taking the time out to share your wisdom and your knowledge, man. And we look forward to having you back on again interacting with you and collaborating with you, because together, the force that we can move and what we can spread in our communities, walking together, is more powerful than what people can even realize or imagine.
Amen to that. And I know, Lamont, you said, you want everybody else to put their information, but tell us again, did you tell us the days that Higher Definition is online?
So Higher Definition is on Facebook and YouTube. We do a Sunday morning inspiration. We have multiple every Sunday. A pastor rotates, a different pastor from the community rotates. That's on at 8:30 a.m. Sunday. Sunday night we do our night show at 7:30 p.m. And like I said, this week we're talking to 4 different mayors from the Carolinas, but that's every Sunday. And then on Thursdays we do a Thursday's Thoughts. It's just an inspirational um, conversation at 10 a.m. The goal for Higher Definition in 2024, we will have something on our platform every single day live.
All right. Yes, I love it. I love it. Definitely tune in. I've always enjoyed every um, person that came on and spoke, or preacher that gave a word. I'd be like, okay, that's my inspiration to get up and go on to church. So sometimes I need a little help to get started. So definitely appreciate Higher Definition. Definitely appreciate this opportunity to sit down and speak with you. This might be our first time, but not our last. So JT knows that once you become part of the family, you're just part of the family. Whenever you got a conversation you think the people need to hear that might inspire even us on the screen, let's do it. So I'm all about that. So but definitely wanted to again shout out to jcilegacy.com for their their premiere of Office Secrets last night. It was in Charlotte, but there is another premiere if you missed it on November 19th in Greensboro. Go to jcilegacy.com. Somebody else I was probably supposed to announce, but I can't remember right now. But I know that Black Girl Expo is happening next Saturday, 11/11. I know JT will be at Queen City Awards. I think he's a presenter this year, right, JT? And so I definitely give you a minute to talk about that. But Aly will be at the Black Girl Expo on 11/11. We have done a book anthology, 12 ladies, just fire code conduct to living her life on fire. So you can go to herfire.com, herfiretour.com to get your tickets for that. They're only $20. So if you're a lady, you're in the area, come see us. If you want to buy the book, I do have a chapter in it. You can do paypal.me.com/AJELLC to read the book. And we have a workbook. Listen, we spent some time putting this thing together, so I'm excited. So you'll hear more about it as we go through. So, but JT, definitely want to give you an opportunity to talk about the Queen City Awards.
Oh yeah, next Saturday, November the 11th, we are in Charlotte, North Carolina at 9, 8, 9, I believe. 6 p.m. we hit the red carpet. 7 p.m. is the award show. I am presenting in 4 times over nominee, 4 different categories this year. So looking forward to that. Just the experience. Victory is already in the name of nominations. It's not. We've already won because we just like today. We're creating legacy. It's another moment to show someone that yes, you can do this too. You can be anything you want to be. Put your mind to it. If you walking in victory, so nobody has to, proclaim it for you. Proclaim it. It starts from within. So we'll be, Queen City Awards, and we'll recap it, on 4th Monday when we come back in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful night. Appreciate everybody that voted and supported, and continue to, send those prayers up because, I'll never refute prayer, but will always uplift nothing but positivity in the atmosphere and in our communities.
Yes, absolutely. And if you wanted to attend the workshop, maybe you're thinking about it, but you can't attend tonight. I know you might be last minute hearing about it, but there are recordings for the show. And I think the recordings are $75. So again, maybe you've thought about doing a broadcast, you didn't really know how to get started or how you would promote it. If you're interested in that, I'll again put the information for registration. But yeah, think about it. So listen, we got to get out of here. But listen, make sure you share this video And we are. I used to be ashamed to ask for stuff, but we are trying to get to 1,000 followers. And the reason I want to do that is because the algorithm for Facebook changes, and the shows are broadcast to more eyes and more ears. Because I do think the content that we come with is good content, and it can help people in multiple areas of life. I don't care if somebody hears this 2 years from now; it will still be good information that they can apply to their life on that day. So, yes, we are here every Saturday at 12 noon, every Monday at 2 p.m. JT is with us every fourth Monday, every fourth Saturday. We do a food show review. We do replays on Thursdays at 7. So make sure you tune in and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you guys got anything left to say before we go?
Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So we will talk again soon. Thank you, JT. And as always, until next time, we'll leave you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everybody.